Tucked away behind the roaring engines and polished chrome of Jay Leno's famous car collection lies a secret few have seen. A forgotten corner filled with rust, grit, and the raw mechanical soul of America's past. These aren't muscle cars or million-dollar exotics. They're the iron workhorses that once fed the nation. From steam-powered beasts to German oddities that puff blue smoke, Leno's hidden vintage tractor collection is unlike anything you'd expect. Each machine tells a story of forgotten farms, fearless engineers, and a time when horsepower didn't mean speed, but survival. Today, here on Agro TV, we're peeling back the doors of Jay's legendary garage to uncover the rarest, wildest, and most unbelievable tractors you never knew he owned. Some are restored to perfection. Others, still covered in the dust of history. Either way, this isn't just a tour. It's a time machine. Let's fire up the past and dive into Jay Leno's hidden vintage tractor treasures. The Lanz Bulldog D9506 is a legendary German tractor with roots dating back to the early 20th century, and it holds a special place in the collection of none other than Jay Leno. Built by Heinrich Lanz AG of Mannheim, Germany, the D9506 emerged in the late 1940s as part of the iconic Bulldog lineup known for its incredible durability and simple engineering. What set the D9506 apart was its massive single-cylinder, two-stroke hot bulb engine displacing over 10 liters, producing around 50 horsepower at just under 1,000 revolutions per minute. This slow-revving powerhouse delivered immense torque, ideal for heavy-duty agricultural work. Starting the engine required heating the bulb with a blowtorch, quirky yet fascinating detail that adds to its mechanical charm. The Lanz Bulldog's rugged construction, with oversized flywheels and a low-speed drivetrain, made it nearly indestructible in the field. Visually, its upright stance, prominent cooling system, and exposed mechanicals give it a commanding presence, while the utilitarian interior reflects its purpose-built roots. Jay Leno, a known enthusiast of unique mechanical marvels, has praised the D9506 for its engineering simplicity and character, calling it one of the most fun-to-watch machines in his garage. So, what do you think? Would you take a hot bulb beast like this for a spin? The Avery 25-50 gas tractor is a towering relic from the golden age of American agriculture, and it proudly sits in Jay Leno's eclectic collection of mechanical treasures. Manufactured by the Avery Company of Peoria, Illinois during the 1910s and early 1920s, the 25-50 was designed to handle serious fieldwork at a time when steam was giving way to gasoline power. Its name reflects its rated 25 horsepower at the drawbar and 50 horsepower at the belt, thanks to a massive four-cylinder engine displacing nearly 500 cubic inches. Running at just over 600 revolutions per minute, it delivered brute force rather than speed, perfect for pulling plows or powering threshers. The open Deere Draveline and exposed mechanicals make it a fascinating machine to observe in motion, and Jay Leno often highlights its thunderous sound and sheer presence. With its oversized iron wheels, long wheelbase, and riveted steel frame, the Avery 25-50 looks more like a mobile steam engine than a modern tractor, embodying the transition era of farm technology. It may lack creature comforts, but its historical significance and mechanical simplicity are exactly what draw enthusiasts like Leno to it. Could you imagine wrangling this iron giant across a field a century ago? The versatile 1150 Big Roy is a one-of-a-kind Canadian-built tractor that stands as a true icon of oversized agricultural engineering. And yes, it's also one of the most jaw-dropping machines in Jay Leno's personal collection. Built in 1977 by Versatile in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Big Roy was a prototype created to explore the limits of size, power, and productivity for the modern farm. Named after Roy Robinson, the company's co-founder, this massive machine was powered by a 12-cylinder Cummins KT, a 1150 turbo diesel engine, producing over 600 horsepower at 2,000 revolutions per minute, unheard of for its time. Measuring over 30 feet in length and 12 feet in height, and weighing nearly 25 tons, Big Roy was designed to handle the widest air seeders and most demanding field tasks across Canada's vast prairie farms. One of its standout features was its unique rear-facing cab, allowing the operator to face the implement for better visibility and control. Despite its enormous potential, Big Roy never went into full production, remaining a unique prototype that was more a bold engineering statement than a commercial product. Today, its rarity and sheer size make it a must-see for tractor enthusiasts. Jay Leno, a longtime admirer of unusual and ambitious machines, has expressed his fascination with Big Roy's audacity and scale, often joking that it's more like a land battleship than a farm tractor. With its massive dual wheels, angular bodywork, and commanding exhaust stacks, Big Roy looks like something out of a science fiction movie rather than a wheat field. While it may not have changed farming forever, it absolutely defined what was mechanically possible in the late 1970s. And for someone like Jay Leno, who loves machinery with big personalities, Big Roy is right at home. So tell me, what would you do with 600 horsepower and a cab the size of a small room? The Minneapolis Mullen G1355 is a bold, muscle-era farm tractor that perfectly blends raw power with vintage charm. And yes, it's one of the more underrated gems in Jay Leno's extensive vehicle collection. Introduced in the early 1970s, the G1355 was part of Minneapolis Mullen's effort to compete in the high-horsepower market, and it stood out with its impressive combination of performance and rugged design. At its core was a massive six-cylinder, 8.3-liter diesel engine sourced from the famed Caterpillar-built Twin Cities plant, pumping out around 135 horsepower at the drawbar, an impressive figure for the time. It came equipped with features like a full power-shift transmission, heavy-duty rear axles, and enough torque to drag serious implements through the toughest soil. Farmers appreciated its dependability, but it was also known for its no-nonsense style: a tall, boxy frame, large rear wheels, and bright yellow-orange paint that made it instantly recognizable in the field. The cab was Spartan but functional, offering decent visibility and comfort for long days on the land. What makes the G1355 particularly interesting is that it marked one of the final efforts by Minneapolis Mullen before its brand identity was absorbed during the wave of agricultural mergers that swept through the industry in the late 1970s. Jay Leno, always drawn to machines with a story and a little attitude, sees the G1355 not just as a workhorse, but as a symbol of American industrial grit during a time when horsepower was king. He's even joked that this thing idles like a locomotive, and its thundering exhaust note certainly supports that claim. Whether pulling plows or just sitting pretty in Leno's garage, the G1355 commands respect with its unapologetic size and sound. So here's the question. If you had a field to tame and one shot at classic American farm muscle, would you fire up the G1355 and let it roar? The John Deere Model A is a true American farming icon, and it also holds a special place in Jay Leno's personal collection, a testament to its cultural and mechanical significance. Introduced in 1934 and produced until 1952, the Model A was John Deere's first row crop tractor, designed for general-purpose farming, and it helped revolutionize agricultural productivity for small and mid-sized farms across the United States. Its most recognizable feature is the legendary two-cylinder Johnny Popper engine, which produced around 20 horsepower at the drawbar and ran with a distinctive chugging rhythm, thanks to its long power strokes and unique firing pattern. That simple, air-cooled two-cylinder layout made it incredibly reliable and easy to maintain, and its power was more than enough to handle plowing, cultivating, and harvesting tasks. Over the years, John Deere refined the Model A with features like electric start, rubber tires, and the company's innovative roll-o-matic front end, which improved stability and maneuverability over rough terrain. Jay Leno, always on the hunt for machines with character and legacy, has highlighted the Model A in his collection as a symbol of American ingenuity and rural resilience. With its classic green and yellow paint, exposed flywheel, and open operator platform, the Model A is as visually striking as it is historically important. It may not have the raw horsepower of the beasts in Leno's garage, but its presence is just as powerful. This was the workhorse that helped build a generation of farms. The Model A wasn't flashy, but it got the job done day after day, season after season, earning its place in history and in the hearts of countless farmers. So when Jay Leno fires up this two-cylinder legend and hears that familiar pop, 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 he's not just starting a tractor, he's reconnecting with a machine that helped define American agriculture. What do you think? Could a 70-year-old farm tool still earn a spot in your dream garage? The Waterl Cub is the smallest member of International Harvester's legendary tractor family. But don't let its size fool you. This compact workhorse earned a loyal following across rural America, and it even has a spot in Jay Leno's ever-diverse collection of mechanical icons. Introduced in 1947 and built through 1979, the Cub was designed for small acreage farmers, hobbyists, and municipalities who needed reliable power in a simple, user-friendly package. At the heart of the Cub was a 4-cylinder, gasoline-powered engine producing just over 10 horsepower at the drawbar, with enough low-end torque to handle plowing, cultivating, mowing, and snow removal duties with surprising efficiency. Its most distinctive feature was the offset CultiVision design, where the operator sat slightly to the right of center, giving an unobstructed view of the row or implement, an innovation that made the Cub remarkably effective in precision work. Weighing around 1,500 pounds and boasting a 3-speed transmission, the Cub was easy to maneuver and maintain, and its popularity spawned an entire ecosystem of proprietary attachments. The styling echoed the larger farmhalls, with iconic red paint, rounded hood lines, and that familiar International Harvester badge front and center. Jay Leno has praised the Waterl Cub for its charm, mechanical simplicity, and historical value, calling it one of the most approachable tractors in his collection, perfect for anyone new to antique machinery. Despite its modest power, the Cub's utility and longevity make it a beloved piece of agricultural history, and it's not uncommon to find them still working on small farms or restored for weekend parades. It's a tractor that didn't try to dominate the field, it just showed up and got the job done year after year. So what do you think? Does this humble red Cub earn a place in your mechanical hall of fame? The Caterpillar D2 is a compact crawler tractor with a massive legacy, and it proudly resides in Jay Leno's eclectic collection of historic machines, a testament to its enduring impact on American industry and agriculture. First introduced in 1938 and produced through 1957, the D2 was the smallest diesel crawler tractor in Caterpillar's lineup, built to deliver big performance in a smaller, more affordable package. Powered by a rugged 2-cylinder diesel engine, with a separate gasoline pony motor used for starting, the D2 produced between 30 to 40 horsepower, depending on the model and configuration. While that might sound modest, its real strength came from its constant, steady torque and excellent traction. Thanks to its steel tracks and low center of gravity, the D2 could tackle steep hillsides, soft soil, and rough terrain with ease. It became a go-to machine, not only for small farms and construction crews, but also for logging operations and even military use during World War II. Caterpillar's legendary reliability was baked into every detail. Robust cast iron construction, simple mechanical systems, and a reputation for running all day without complaint. Jay Leno has shown off his fully restored D2, marveling at its mechanical toughness and the unique startup process involving the hand-cranked pony motor, a charming, old-school ritual that few machines today can match. With its yellow paint, boxy engine shroud, exposed drivetrain, and clanking steel tracks, the D2 has a raw, industrial aesthetic that's impossible to ignore. It may not have the polish or speed of Leno's cars, but the D2 commands respect for what it is, a tool, built to move the earth, quite literally. In a collection filled with rare and exotic vehicles, the D2 stands out for its unpretentious utility and workhorse soul. So tell me, if you had one machine to carve a path through the wild, wouldn't you want it to be a Caterpillar? The Porsche Diesel Junior 108 is a beautifully engineered piece of agricultural history, wrapped in unmistakable German design. and it's one of the more surprising gems tucked into Jay Leno's extensive collection. Built between 1952 and 1963, the Junior 108 was the smallest tractor offered by Porsche Diesel Motorenbau, a company that spun out of Ferdinand Porsche's post-war vision to help rebuild rural Europe with affordable, efficient machinery. Powered by a single-cylinder, air-cooled diesel engine producing just under 15 horsepower, the Junior 108 was never meant to be a brute. It was designed for precision work on vineyards, orchards, and small farms, where nimble handling and reliability mattered more than raw power. One of its standout features was the modular engine system Porsche designed, making it easier to maintain and repair in the field, while the air cooling eliminated the need for a radiator and simplified upkeep. The styling, though clearly utilitarian, carries that signature Porsche touch. Clean lines, minimalist curves, and a rich red paint job that's more sports car than farm machine. Jay Leno, always fascinated by machines with both charm and engineering pedigree, loves the Junior 108, not just because it's rare, but because it's such a thoughtful, purpose-built piece of design. He said it runs like a sewing machine and draws more attention at car shows than some of his Ferraris, thanks to its oddball appeal and Porsche badge. With its open seating, narrow stance, and endearing exhaust note, the Junior 108 feels more like a vintage go-kart with torque than a conventional tractor. And while it may not plow a massive field, it does something else just as important. It makes people smile. So what do you think? Can a 15 horsepower Porsche still earn a spot on your dream machine list? The Waterl Boy Model R is one of the most historically significant tractors ever built, and it proudly holds a place in Jay Leno's collection as a symbol of where modern farming truly began. Produced between 1914 and 1923 by the Waterloo Gasoline Engine Company of Iowa, the Model R was one of the first commercially successful gasoline-powered tractors in the United States and played a major role in shifting agriculture away from horse-drawn equipment. Powered by a two-cylinder horizontal engine that produced around 12 horsepower at the drawbar and 25 at the belt, the Model R used a simple but effective design: hit-and-miss ignition, open gearing, and a massive flywheel that provided torque and momentum to keep things moving at just a few hundred revolutions per minute. Its engine ran on kerosene, which was cheaper than gasoline at the time, and was started with gasoline before switching over, making the startup process a mechanical ritual in itself. The tractor's tall iron wheels, basic operator platform, and exposed components gave it a raw, industrial appearance that feels more steam-age than space-age. In 1918, John Deere purchased the Waterloo Gasoline Engine Company, and the Model R became the foundation for the green and yellow empire we know today. Jay Leno, a lover of early mechanical innovation, keeps the Model R not just because of its historical significance, but because it still runs with remarkable simplicity over a century later. He often points out how it represents a turning point, not just for farming, but for how we interact with machines on a daily basis. Watching this iron giant chug along with its distinctive two-cylinder pop-pop rhythm is like stepping back into the earliest days of mechanized labor. So, if you had the chance to drive the tractor that started it all, would you climb aboard the Waterloo Boy and feel history come to life under your hands? The Rumley Oil Pole is one of the most unforgettable and mechanically fascinating tractors ever built, and it proudly holds a spot in Jay Leno's eclectic collection, celebrated not just as an agricultural machine, but as a rolling monument to American industrial ingenuity. Built by the Advanced Rumley Company of LaPorte, Indiana, from 1910 until 1931, the oil pole helped revolutionize early 20th century farming by offering a powerful alternative to steam engines with a bold and unique design. At the heart of the oil pole's identity is its kerosene-burning engine that uses oil, not water, for cooling, a system that dramatically reduced maintenance headaches like mineral scale buildup and boiling over in tough working conditions. This simple yet brilliant design earned the machine its distinctive name and a reputation for toughness that spread quickly among farmers throughout the Midwest and Great Plains. Depending on the model, Oil poles produced between 20 and 60 horsepower using a massive 2-cylinder horizontal engine built for low-speed, high-torque performance. These engines ran on low-grade fuel like tractor distillate or kerosene, ideal for rural farmers trying to save on operating costs. Starting the engine wasn't just mechanical, it was theatrical. First, you'd light a blowtorch to heat the intake manifold, then hand crank the engine to life, listening as the giant pistons thundered into action with their signature pop-pop-pop rhythm that sounded more like a factory than a farm machine. Jay Leno's own Rumley Oil Pole is a fully functional example of this era-defining tractor, and he's described it as one of the most fun and crowd-pleasing machines in his entire collection. With its towering smokestack, exposed gear trains, heavy riveted tanks, and steel lug wheels, it's a dramatic, almost intimidating presence evoking the transition from the steam age to the internal combustion era, with every chug and rattle. Unlike modern tractors, there's no cab, no suspension, and no comfort. It's just you, the iron seat, and the throbbing mass of machinery underfoot. But that's exactly what makes it so captivating. Leno has noted that few machines turn heads like the Rumley, and for good reason. It's not just functional, it's elemental. The oil pole's industrial aesthetic, complete with a thick vertical exhaust stack, belching smoke, and the hypnotic movement of its mechanical linkages, turns every demonstration into a live-action history lesson. Designed during a time when American farming was scaling up fast, the oil pole replaced horse teams and helped usher in a new era of efficiency, reliability, and raw mechanical power. Even today, over a century later, restored Rumleys like Lenos continue to start easily, run strong, and demand respect. It's not just a tractor, it's an experience, a visceral connection to a past where machines had rhythm, presence, and soul. So tell me, if given the chance to take the wheel of this iron legend, would you feel the pulse of early American innovation in every gear shift and piston stroke?